Hey guys, Bowie here, and this is MMR Battle. Today we're witnessing Crusader 2 player against Divine 5 player. The video starts off pointing out two key mistakes coming out of the Crusader player in the early game. He is position 5 here, if we assume the usual Dota trends, and what he does is buying only one Observer Ward. Earthshaker gets out of the base with pretty much nothing, since he had to get the other Observer Ward as well as Courier. It doesn't stop here. If we watch the Crusader player movement, he stands around this area way too long, only to drop a pretty obvious Observer Ward that could get spotted if someone is in the ancient high ground. If you're dropping that Observer Ward, you have to get out of the base immediately, drop it and get away. The time wasted is asking for people to deward it immediately. The Divine player spent all his gold, and while he didn't got Observer Wards, he got the Courier, the most expensive item, and he has Dust to deal with the Treant. Not only he gets the Dust, but he understands how dangerous any hero is now, since there's always the risk of Treant being with them. Look how he positions himself, and he stays like that until the room time. A lot of players have the hindsight of getting Dust and Sentries against Image heroes, that's pretty basic, but few understand that as a support 5, they're always quite vulnerable, especially when they're selfless like this beautiful little guy, regardless of having Dust or detection anyways. Since Earthshaker was in the lane, the Crusader player and his team get First Blood against Clockwork, which is quite good. And while there's no mistaking what they did, watching the Divine player gives us insight into a different playstyle. The other player was 3 versus 1 in his lane, and here he is 2 versus 2 against Treant plus Bristle. Shaco's level 1 is useless, even though he has a Juggernaut, because the enemy offlaner is super swole, so they would just power through them. So pay attention how Shadow Shaman understands his limitations here and grabs either Shock level 1. With this, at least he can reliably deal damage to Bristleback without putting himself in danger. We also see him later on doing much with very little. Unlike his Crusader counterpart, he has 0 CS, had no gold at the start of the game, and with only his magic stick that he got in the side shop with normal gold, he gets a kill. Pay attention how instead of, say, using Dust and Shackle to the Treant that surprise him, he goes for Bristle. The hero with damage potential there is Bristle, not the Treant, since he already used his first skill. And at the same time, the Shackles allows them to deal more damage to Bristleback since he cannot move. Not only that, but Bristleback is less tanky than Treant HP wise. Thanks to the clutch magic stick play and decision making, they grab a kill, he only dies afterwards, and he also saved the Dust since there's no way they're killing both Bristleback as well as Treant. Using the reveal there wouldn't yield him anything. Instead of trying to get Boots or Windlace, he grabs a Sentry Ward to help his Juggernaut as he respawns. The decision of Sentry in that spot was probably not ideal since Treant has the advantage there, but still goes to show how he is playing as a true position 5. The Crusader 2 player had time to go for pulls and stuff because he had another support in the lane, but he was way too greedy in how he did it. First of all, he's about to pull here, he sees his Juggernaut in kind of a bad spot being cogged towards the enemy tier 1, but as he pulls, he never goes back to the screen to see what's happening. Pulling, if you can deny the entire wave, which is the case, is good by itself. You deny a lot of experience from the offlaner. But you can only farm those creeps if you have a support zoning at the time of the pull, or if you're 100% sure your safe laner is fine, and he had the knowledge that was not the case. So Juggernaut dies here while he farms some small creeps, definitely not ideal. On top of that, with all that gold he farmed, he never bought one Observer Ward or Sentry, while the Divine player got 4 Observer Wards and that Sentry that got the ward. Not only that, but he shrines with Axe, while he also times that rotation with an Ancient stack and a mid ward for SF, and on top of that, since he warded through the fog, he tries to guess whether Radiant had vision of everything that he did or not, and confirms that it was not the case, getting a kill for his mid player. Another thing to mention on his selfless playstyle is that he gets Shackles level 2. Since he has no stats from Magic Wand and since he's ages away from Arcanes, getting 2 points in Shackles is way better than 1 point in, say, Hex. By getting the second point in Shackles, he's getting 0.75 extra disable duration for 10 extra mana, while with Hex he gets 1 second for 110 mana. So it makes way more sense to the style of play he's going for. When they get level 6, you can see a huge difference in how they act. First of all, the Crusader player buys the tome because he has gold, a lot of gold, and by the way, that ward was the first one he bought after the game started and he still did not place it. If you pay attention, he only buys his tome after he's pretty much full HP and he doesn't leave the base. He starts thinking about the next move, while higher MMR players would buy all they need as soon as they get to the base while they think about their next move as they heal. And all his next movements are quite weird. He was going top, and as a fight unfolds, instead of going there and maybe getting a tower afterwards, he trades that opportunity for an Ancient stack and then a mid ward. And it's not like those things are bad by themselves, but he actually got the taunt to get level 6, and he's not making any moves that could help him capitalize on the power spike he just reached. The Divine player didn't get the best use of his ult, but at least he goes for the tower as soon as he gets level 6. He saw the glyph being used and even gives his life so that Radiant doesn't get a deny. It might look wonky, but he forced 4 TPs to that lane, wasted all that time, he used his cooldown as soon as he got it, and he also kills a courier. If maybe he told SF to leave just earlier, that move would be incredibly good for them, but it's still great. The greed from the Crusader player just keeps showing up at all times in this game. Even though he wasted all that time, he finds an arcane rune, and he had a ton of different options. He could have gone mid and forced a tier 2, he could have gone bottom and get a tier 1, but instead he TP's top, and knowing that heroes were going back to base and Radiant would have heroes up quite soon, tries to take an almost full HP tower to ult the second one. Not satisfied, even when Legion shows up, he refuses to ult, and yeah, what we can see here, and I don't want to be an asshole or anything, is the other half of the coin of the players that say that they support, they win their lanes, and his cores manage to lose anyways. This was insanely greedy, and we saw that throughout the entire game. They did win this game, but Shadow Shaman had an amazing start, early level 6, a lot of items, and even with all of that, his decisions were not good enough to propel him forward. Those decisions actually slowed their game quite a bit, almost giving Radiant a win. Well guys, this is it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. This video is sponsored by Pvgna, and my 1-hour Tinker guide will be up on Pvgna pretty soon, so you can check the link in the description. I have new Patreon rewards, and by the way, if you support me on Patreon, you should check the feed. There's a new video that I uploaded there that pretty much no one watched. I'm also coaching via gamersensei if you're interested, and I'm streaming every day now. I have a rank 100 friend that challenged me to learn a ton of different heroes. The heroes are here in the screen, and if you want to learn any of those heroes, maybe my coaching will be extra interesting to you, since I'm actually researching about those heroes every day. That's it for today. Follow me in social media, Twitch, if you support the channel, and that's it guys. Hope you had a fantastic day. Bye.